Hello. So this is my history of World of Warcraft, right? So I've played since Classic, but I've never really been into more serious content up to Legion. And in Legion is also the first time I really started to seriously tank. This is just homage to the old Legion times, where I used to main Blood Decay, and that was the most fun tank and the tank I played the most. I played lots of hours, mainly doing Mythic Plus and pugging, and I really enjoyed the DK. But also in Legion, I did play all the tanks a little bit, and I've always enjoyed Paladin. But I felt like it really on Legion it really had a big issue where they would just feel so incredibly weak outside of the active mitigations that they could not even survive anything. It was very painful, as well as just like also needing to have the target next to you to get active mitigation on you was also very annoying to deal with. So you would take so much damage and you have to coordinate cooldowns, etc. So I've always wanted to play Paladin, but I never felt that it was that great. So further on in BFA, I uh, I played the first raid tier. I played as a rogue as a main, so I thought I could go back to DPS and just have fun with the rogue because the rogues were also a lot of fun in PvP. Um, but after playing for a little bit, I quickly realized that once you start playing a tank, it's really hard to not play a tank. Oh my god, do I get frustrated when other people play tanks? And as a DPS, it's so frustrating that or either I play tank or I quit the game. So then I decided to go back to tanking in BFA, and the first tank I came back to was the DK, and pretty much played DK and Monk a lot in the second raid tier, and I've always enjoyed DK, but there's always DK in this expansion has like the cooldowns of it is are nerfed by like four times as much from Legion to BFA, and you can really feel how weak DKs are. And every time I play my DK, even if I have fun, it feels like I'm playing a key that's 3 levels higher than normal. It's really hard to. You have to do so much extra effort to survive in a lower key. It's kind of unplayable, honestly. So I really like the self healing model, and DK always has this thing where it's really good for pucks because you have so many ways to interrupt the mobs. And that's mostly what ends up killing people is when stuff doesn't get interrupted. But then I moved on to the for the Narsitar. I moved on as a main Demon Hunter tank, and I really felt positive about Demon Hunters just being the best, just better than a DK in general. They were a lot tankier than DKs, and they're kind of similar. It just after playing it for an entire tier, it really started to dawn on me how bad the rotational Demon Hunter is for tanking. They really need to make that smoother. It really starts to get a pain after a while after you play this shit. So I thought I wanted to go back to Paladin, and oh my god, did I make the right decision? Holy shit! Um, I considered also a warrior. I've always played a little bit of warrior, but going from a tank that has a lot of self healing to going to a tank that has no self healing is just unplayable. It just feels so horrible. Every time I play it, it's like please heal me, please, I'm dying, and it's like you have no control over it. And it's kind of same goes with the monk, even though they have good self healing. Just the rotation just feels like very boring, and it's not. I don't know. It's not like you don't feel very impactful. I don't know. When playing a monk, I don't feel really impactful in the group. I'm just good at tanking stuff, and that's it. But back to the paladin. This is, I think, the best tank for pugging in general, and also for for the skill level I am at, or the mediocre player base. Not the top, maybe not the top end, but you know the some people think that the game is all about only being the best at it, and I don't think that approach is very soothing for everyone, and especially not for me. I really enjoy playing the game for the challenge and playing with others, and but I don't really aim to be the best in the world. It's very tedious to be the best in the world. It's not really worth it, you know. So what the changes from Paladin and from Legion is that well, first of all, they're not super squishy anymore outside of active mitigation, which is really welcome. Um, and they're not that good at off healing anymore as they were in Legion. But the class fantasy is really fucking strong, dude. The aesthetics and the class fantasy of paladins is really good, and more than that, it's the how good they are at pugs, at carrying pugs. Because in pugs, you always lack communication, right? And people don't want to be in comms, and I don't really like talking either. So it's it's mostly less coordinated content, even though it's challenging. But what Paladin really has is the ability to carry, uh, because you have infinite silence interrupts with your shield, which is really good. You can shut down any caster that you want and do it on your own, and you don't need anybody else to help you out. And that's really strong. But also the self healing of Paladin, they can, as you can see, what was the heal for? 430k heal, and you can have it up a lot of times, and it's their self healing is really strong as well, and that's what makes it ultimately better than warrior, if you ask me, because the worst part is just having affixes like grievous, and then you're just a warrior, and then you're sitting with grievous stacks, and you're like, please get me out of grievous stacks, and the healers, of course, it's gonna be a pug, so he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he's not he barely is gonna keep your health up, and then you're gonna die to Grievous, and then when you die, everybody else dies, and then you wipe, and then the group disbands, and you're like very sad because if you played another class that could actually heal themselves to full with the global and take off the Grievous, then yeah, then you don't have that problem anymore. And the same goes with Necrotic, or for example, where you can just bubble it off, and on top of that, even when you see like when a party member is gonna get fucked, and you see that the healer is gonna not be able to save him on time, you can just bop that person, and he's safe, you know. Or you can just lay on hands on him, and you also bring the constant healing stream of Judgment of Light, which is also good. This is like all the pros of the Paladin, which I really enjoy. But what I actually enjoy most of all is because Paladin actually has a lot of good options. You have a lot of different gearing options, which are really interesting to me, because I think the other tanks are just very stale in the options you have. You mostly have like a couple Asura traits that you only want, and you always use the same essences, or it's very little variation. But on Paladin you have a lot of variation. So what most of the top Paladins play, which I personally never play unless I'm super undergeared for the content I'm doing, is Last Defender, which is very passive. Last Defender with, what is it, Lucid Dreams Major. That combination is gonna just increase your uptime of your active mitigation. But that's not necessarily the best option, especially when you're not getting crushed, like, and not on the top tier keys in the world. Then you don't really have that kind of problems yet, you know. And that's why I really like that's why I really like the Vision of Perfection Major. It feels amazing for Paladin playing this shit. Because every time it procs you get a massive heal on yourself. And that has such a big impact on the pack to pack that I really like this kind of utility and this kind of self-sustain on other tanks that also bring all this other utility, and it's a complete package for me, the Paladin. But they're also like running the, how's it called, uh, the absorb trait, yeah, the Bulwark of Light. This I've tried running with this quite a while, and it's just, I don't know, it feels underwhelming, honestly. It might like be good, but it's just augments your defense for a little bit when you are doing AoE, because you almost never reset this Avenger's Shield. And the same goes with Blessed Hammer. I can't play with that talent. It just feels really, it feels very annoying to play with, because you never have globals to use this shit, and you're always at a lot of stacks left on this shit, because you always prioritize Avenger's Shield and Judgment. And that's why I like to always take Holy Shield, a part of just being generally good, because you also take less magic damage, which is a lot of the damage you're gonna take, especially in the pugs. And that's what people don't like. The most guys you see out there, they're just gonna give you the best talents for the top of the top tier, when you're just specializing against physical damage, you know. But in lower keys, you're gonna take a lot of magic damage, and that's because DPS and parties at lower keys, they're not gonna interrupt everything, and they're not gonna control all the damage that comes into you. And that's why some tanks are able to take very little magic damage, because the party is allowing them to do that, in essence. And that is not necessarily optimistic or a realistic way to play the games when you're like pugging, or you're playing with friends that aren't top tier mythic raiders, and they're good people, but they're not gonna be aware of every mechanic and stopping everything for you. And that's where this Paladin shines. It's by far, in my opinion, it's by far the best pugging tank of all the tanks. Um, Probably for all key levels, honestly. And by pugging, I mean with people that are not on the top of the world, and you're not communicating all the time, all the kicks and all the rotations. And yeah, that's my general consensus about it. But what's also fun is like the amount of builds you can have with this shit, right? Because for example, the Righteous Protector, this feels like a more skillful build setup, right? Because then you actually have to time your heals and your shields. You don't want to waste all your charges. You want to hold on to charges so you can reduce the cooldown of your heal, and that's way more engaging than having less damage taken all the time. It's way more engaging gameplay. when you want to time your cooldowns and your heal and everything. But also the Azerite traits, there's so many good Azerite traits for paladins. It just makes kind of jealous on other tanks like DKs. They just have there's just nothing. They have this they're really fucking shitty traits, and you don't really have any options. You just take the general traits and a little bit of haste and one maul and one thingy, and it has very low impact. And on Paladin, you can take a build where you go full Avenging Wrath, and you get all the mastery things. For example, I'm using two Avenger's Might, and then every time my wings proc, even from the Vision of Perfection, my mastery is gonna go up by a lot. If you can see, like 50%. That's gonna give me 60% block, and then like 18% damage reduction while on consecrated ground. And this is like a huge power boost for tanking, right? When you're tanking packs, you're gonna feel that when you're popping wings, you're gonna need a lot less defensive cooldowns, or you don't even need anything for that time when you pop it. And the same goes for like interesting like righteous conviction. Like having one of these when your wings procs is guarantee you to heal you to full, and that's just very powerful. Especially on like a grievous week where you just I'm dying, or I have 4 stack, boom, full health. Just like that on a short cooldown, just full health. And it feels very impactful. And then also good traits like soaring shield, you just normally just want one of these, for example. And Indomitable Justice is just the biggest DPS trait from all tanks that I've seen. It's just my judgment goes from hitting from 13k to 60k, and it's like what, such a huge boost. You can customize it so much, and like also you can go inspiring vanguard. There's so many good traits for paladin. It's just very satisfying to play that way. And I think it's gonna even be better with corruption, where you can have even more build options. And what's even better is that we can actually fucking transmog Thunder Fury. Transmog Thunder Fury with a big ass shield. That's gonna be good. I'm gonna enjoy that. That's gonna be the best for 8.3. So yeah, that's my thoughts on what the best tank for puging is. And I think the most impact I have so far is when I play Paladin, and I still play all my other tanks. Just do a key per week, or do some stuff, do some keys on them, and I still like enjoy playing DK and stuff like that. But my Paladin is for sure the biggest impact class, if you ask me. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll just show you the DK. Just want to show you the terrible traits. Like, what was it again? Like Marrow Blood. Such a weak trait. And deep cuts. It's like, what the fuck is this trait? It's so terrible. And then your best stuff is Crucible Flame. You know, it's your talents. You have barely any options. You're always gonna take these talents, and maybe you take Red Thirst, and wow, that's the only change you're ever gonna do. You know, DKs are so, like so many tanks are so cookie cutter and so boring to play, honestly. But yeah, that's it for me. So thanks for watching. And,